Hello and happy Tuesday from this Tuesday baby at Radically Rational and radicallyrational.com. We begin with a rhetorical sports question. How happy are the Bears to get Rodgers out of the NFC North? Because as he always reminded us, he owned them. All right, so questions being posed on every sports website I see. Did the Jets overpay for Aaron Rodgers? Oh, just hell yes. And I'd have done exactly the same thing. It was worth it. Consider this, there is no tomorrow in today's NFL. There isn't. And you're playing in New York, and you haven't done anything since Joe Namath wore pantyhose. And if you're playing in that market, you got to take a big bite out of the apple. So I hear this, Rodgers is going to be 40 years old before the season starts. So what? I also hear, well, there's no guarantee he'll be there more than 1 year. And that's exactly right, because we all know he's Aaron Rodgers. He may decide to book a yak riding trip in Nepal, and we never see him again. It's still worth it. Okay? As Grover Washington and Bill Withers once said, you got to go for all you know. That carries my blessing. And I'm also hearing this from people who ought to know better. Well, Rodgers is washed up. There were a lot of things going on in Green Bay last year, not the least of which was that was generally a bad team. You must concede Coach watches these things pretty closely. His physical skills are completely undiminished. I'd have done exactly the same thing. Well, for his part, Packers GM Brian Gutekunst says his team is not in a rebuilding mode. I got news for you. You're now in a rebuilding mode. Now, that started pretty well with the haul of draft choices you got in the trade, but you are rebuilding. And as far as this season is concerned, the best you can do is a third place finish in your division. And if Justin Fields gets hot, you may end up in the cellar. And as for Jordan, he could use a little love right now, don't you think? One of the things I love about Jalen Hurts is that guy is serene on top of everything else. You know, he could have easily bled a lot more money out of Eagles. They don't want to do that. He wanted peace of mind. He wanted to get on with it. He wanted to get on with the business of winning championships. And the Eagles, there are rumors out there they may acquire Derrick Henry. And there also, I could paint you a lot of scenarios where Bijan Robinson falls to the Eagles at number 10 on Thursday night. And if either one of those things happen, even the Cowboy defense is going to have their hands full with that. One afterthought about Derrick Henry. Do you remember a day in the NFL when a star running back was respected more than a deep snapper? I don't know what's going on here. And as for Trey Lance right now, man, that guy's got to be whipsawed. That is not a purdy world for him right now at all. So 18 Colorado Buffalo football players have entered the transfer portal following the first spring training gauntlet by Deion Sanders, and Primetime just said, hop in. I must admit, the man amuses me every now and then. By the way, this is a public service. I looked up the derivation of the name Kawhi. Turns out it means inscrutable and frankly, pretty damn strange. Before last night, last time I saw Jimmy Butler, he was hobbling off the court in a game 3, you know, and he was looking like the Godfather of Soul after a 3-hour cold sweat concert. You ain't limping like this. Well, apparently it got better because he hung 56 last night to push the Bucks to the absolute brink. Okay, so you know I'm getting here. Here is my proposed professional epitaph for Carlson, you lying mother Tucker. Here's your epitaph. Those who live only to make waves are destined to drown. And now it's time for a burial at sea. The man has no principles, no scruples, really no philosophy, no guiding compass, no foundational platform. He's just a narcissist in search of an audience. And he wants an audience that will tell him what to say and do. And that is the definition of no man at all. And I will point this out. He has now been fired at CNN, MSNBC, and now Fox Spews. That's a triple crown. Not even Secretariat pulled that off. But let's not kid ourselves. It's not like Fox Spews got a sudden scruples attack. This was just playing defense because they're trying to show the other 1,357 liable plaintiffs that are lined up outside their door that they're taking some remedial action. And the truth of the matter is, what really got him, what got his boss, Rupert Murdoch, scared, it wasn't the fact that he'd been lying every time he opened his mouth and was trying to bring the country down. It was concern about office skirt chasing. And nobody wants HR on line two. So I guess you could say that Carlson's career was ultimately a lemon. You knew that was coming, right? Here's the deal. I'm just kind of grateful that CNN finally put us and Lemon himself out of our misery, because that was getting painful to watch. Did you check out any part of that CNN morning show? Man, euthanasia was performed there for humanitarian reasons. Strange days indeed, most peculiar, mama. Okay, so Biden made it official about an hour ago. We're taping this very early in the morning. And here's what's strange. There's virtually no one in America who wants Joe Biden to serve a second term. And I would maintain that includes Joe Biden himself. He don't want any part of this really, but he thinks he's kind of got to take one for the team. And here's where it really gets strange. Biden would be an underdog in a general election to any GOP nominee except Donald Trump. And he'll bury his ass again if he has to, just like, yes, cultists, he did in 2020. But I don't think that matchup is in the cards, really, because I think his orangeness is going to be preoccupied trying to stay out of an orange jumpsuit. Finally, I don't even understand this. So let me get this straight. Ed Sheeran allegedly ripped off Marvin Gaye? Let me ask you a question. How could Ed Sheeran rip off Marvin Gaye even if he wanted to? Now see, right there is an example of being radically rational.